So this week I went for a job interview for a job that I have been dreaming of for, a long time, since like elementary school days. This is a job that will, if I get it, will likely be the final job I have, because I'll probably stick with it for the rest of my working life. For the interview, things went well. I think I did pretty good. Answered questions well, and that pertained to my future job. But there was something that came up. I didn't really think much of it at the time. It was about grooming. As you can see, I have long hair. When I went to the interview, I was wearing black slacks, boots, a black vest, and a nice blue dress top. No jewelry, no makeup, and my hair back in a ponytail. And I had a black business jacket. Did not wear a tie because I don't wear ties. I don't think any of that had any effect on my my future hiring. I did note that the two people that were interviewing me were also not wearing ties. The one main guy was wearing a polo shirt, no tie, black jeans, blue jeans, and the other gentleman was wearing sort of a flannel shirt.
Oh wow, we were wearing blue jeans and they were wearing flannel?
Right. Yeah, so they were pretty, it was very laid back. The other guy had a visible tattoo. Well, during the interview, they were asking me, how long I'd been doing what is associated with this job, and they seemed to be happy with what they heard. But as we started moving on to the next stage of the interview, the one gentleman in the polo shirt and blue jeans started addressing my hair. He wasn't bad about it. He wasn't really negative about it at all. He was like, well, if we do hire you on, do you think you will be able to cut your hair? Or do you think you can tie it back, or that sort of thing, or wear it in a hat? And he offered me those other things, but I found it annoying, shall we say, that the first thing he went for was for me to cut my hair. Now, like I said, at the time it didn't bug me because I want this job. But while I was driving home, it was a long 3-hour drive too, I was thinking what absolute double standard bullshit it was that this individual decided to ask me, if we do hire you on, will you be willing to cut your hair? And it's like, we're in the current year, 2017. Men have had long hair for a long time, except during the 40s, 50s, and 60s, or 40s, 50s, and yeah, men had their hair butchered, as far as I'm concerned. Men have naturally long hair. There is nothing biological that says men are to have short hair. Now, sorry, I got a little rant there. The gentleman did explain why he was saying this, and it made perfect sense. Because the job that I will be taking, there is machinery in which hair can get caught. And I totally understand that. I work in an industry where my hair can get caught. I've worked in this industry for going on 20 years. I've only had my hair this long for 5 years, maybe 6 years. And what I do is I tie it in a ponytail and put it under a hat. And that's how it's been for 5 years. I have never run into a situation where my hair will get caught because I'm very conscious about it. So I totally understand what he was talking about, but what bugged me, as I said, was that because I'm male, or this is how I felt, because I am male, it's perfectly okay to ask a guy whether or not they will cut their hair to get the job. I don't think that's fair. I think that's a double standard, because if I were a woman, or if I identified as a woman, that question would never have come up. And that's kind of BS. I have a friend who is also in the same industry as what I'm trying to get into. And for as long as I knew him, he had large, I wouldn't call them gauges, but they were definitely thick silver earrings on either ear. And when he went to get the job that he has now, when he went for the interview, I noticed the earrings went away. And it was his reason. I wouldn't say it was an excuse. It was the reason was because he wanted to look more professional. And this is something I hear. I hear people saying this sort of thing. Long hair on men is unprofessional. Men wearing earrings is unprofessional. Where do people get this shit? I have never understood this for as long as I've been alive. I have never understood the association of someone's grooming. Now, not grooming as in cleanliness. I'm talking about grooming as far as hair length and beard and that sort of thing. How this in any way associates with someone's professional attitude or professionalism. I always thought professionalism was about how you did your job, how you performed at your job, and how well you did the job. Not what suit you're wearing, not whether your suit is a Men's Warehouse suit or a Gucci suit, or anything like that. So, I don't know, what are your opinions when it comes to these sort of, let's face it, they're outdated gender rules, again, when it comes to men's hair and men's look. I mean, I would have preferred to have worn a skirt suit or something like that, opposed to what I did wear. But of course I couldn't do that, because we're still sort of holding people back or restricting people and those sorts of things. Amber might have something to say, I'm not sure. Let's find out. What do you say, Amber?
Well, I mean, I know you know my feelings on the whole thing. The whole argument's dumb. You know, the whole guys, it's all about norms, because it's not about if it's biological, which some people argue the whole gender thing, oh, it's masculine. That doesn't make any sense, because it's natural.
Mm-hmm.
It's natural. You know, like you said, if it wasn't, then it wouldn't be growing.
Right. Right.
So what it is it's just norms. It's just cultural norms. It's basically like, because remember there was a time when, even in history, further back of course, that they had long hair.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you go back for, you know, in different, actually, the further back you go, you know, it's more prevalent, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially in certain cultures.
Yep.
But for some reason, because it's the norm, also too, it makes you wonder. Now you know how we discussed how if it was a female, you wouldn't have to cut her hair.
Mm-hmm.
Are they used to hiring females, though? I know they can, but do they? So they might not be used to
This is true.
saying that.
Yeah, it's very true.
Now, I'm not trying to say, well, because I'm not trying to say that unfairly it's a male-dominated world in that business, but how many women actually fly cargo transport?
Right.
I'm sure there are a few. But they're not used to asking that question, or, you know, they're used to the double standard, because that's who they work with.
Actually, I'll be honest. More women are into the passenger flying side of aviation than, let's face it, cargo transport is very utilitarian. Frankly, I think more women should get into it, because it's a different kind of flying. But at the same time, I think they more go towards the passenger flying side of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I'm just saying that they're used to people accepting that double standard, or
I think it is.
Yeah.
I think they do accept it, and I think it's accepted as a double standard because people don't raise questions about it, either because they just don't care, and that's very possible. People don't care; they have more important things to worry about, or They just don't think about it. They like, I don't hold anything against this gentleman who interviewed me. I hold nothing against him. But kind of get into the whole systemic thing. Mm-hmm. Systemically, it is accepted to tell men to cut their hair. It is perfectly acceptable.
That's true.
And which I personally think it is something that should die. Something that should just die away from our culture.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's basically how my input on it and my experience. As I said, in the comment section, go ahead and put in what you think and what, how if you've ever had to deal with this sort of thing, and how you felt at the time. Like I said, at the time I wasn't really that bugged. But then I realized, oh wait, would you have asked that of a woman? Or would you have said that to a woman? Of course not.
Oh yeah, they would be like told they couldn't wear certain things, so I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure they would have been told. You know, yeah.
No jewelry and stuff. No, I don't know about makeup, maybe. I don't see what makeup has to do with your job, but the social norms. So you've been to jobs that were like you couldn't wear.
Oh yeah.
A lot of
no,
you know.
I couldn't. The job I do, I couldn't wear this not without causing a big stink. It will be a good day. It will be a good day when a guy could wear maybe a little lighter makeup. I don't know. Hell, it'd be fine if they could wear this. You know, nothing about this is inherently feminine. There's not a damn thing that's inherently feminine.
Especially if you're doing cargo transport, you don't even see other people, so they can't be like, "Oh, people be freaked out about it."
Yeah, I know.
You know, oh, customers. They can't use that because there's no cussing.
Cargo doesn't complain. But anyways, so like I said, go ahead and leave a comment and have a good one.